Good Monday, everyone. Welcome to GardenStateWeather.com and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic region 24 hours a day. I'm forecaster Robert Smith, bringing on your winter 2016. And, well, we might be seeing this on Saturday. Finally. This is the video forecast discussion for Monday, the 18th of January 2016. Temperatures across the New Jersey area early this morning at 7 a.m. are already crashing as Arctic air is filtering in behind Arctic front, which is slicing right through New Jersey, just around getting into New York City shortly within the next hour or two. All these temperatures are now current as of 7 a.m. and they're in the teens. And on that northwesterly flow, the winds are getting busy in the teens to lower 20s with some gust here. If we take a look at and factor that in with the wind chills, it makes it feel like it's in the single digits to below zero in a few spots. Other areas are still generally feeling like it's in the teens. Nonetheless, this is Arctic air, which is now entrenched over the forecast region and will only get colder over the next 24 hours. You can see this nicely this morning on the surface chart overlaid with the radar and surface observations here. As the shortwave and Arctic front move through, a few flurries being touched off in northwestern New Jersey. We can already see that getting into Essex County and Passaic County and Bergen County in New Jersey, up the Hudson River Valley area as well into interior Connecticut. This will be rapidly scooting off to the east, but cold, dry air and increasing sunshine will be felt throughout the day, but wind gusts are already in the teens and lower 20s, and this will continue to make the air temperatures feel like that they're in the single digits to teens throughout most of the forecast area for today. And of course, yesterday's disturbance did bring some northbound snow on the northern edge of the precipitation shield yesterday as the cold Arctic air made its way into the region this morning, and out ahead of it a disturbance low passing off the southeast coast, then scooted up, had a little bit of an inverted trough, a little thermodynamic action working in congruence with this, and as a result we had about half of an inch to nearly an inch in a few spots across the forecast region. I don't know why that's not showing up where the values are 0 or above here, but these observations are showing it. Anywhere from Connecticut all the way down into Central Park even had almost a half of an inch as of 7 o'clock last night. LaGuardia, some areas around Queens here approaching nearly an inch of snow on the ground, and in Suffolk County about an inch to a half of an inch in spots from the east end to the central portion of New York. And across New Jersey, we had reports anywhere from about a half of an inch to an inch. Atlantic City reported about 2 inches of snow, about an inch and a half of snow, or over an inch. I'm trying to look for that here in Atlantic County. 2.8 inches at Atlantic City International Airport, according to the ASO station. 2.5 Co-op Observer here in Estelle Manor. Mays Landing, 2.3 inches, so some moderate snow fell in this area here, but generally anywhere from about a half of an inch to an inch of snow in spots across the region yesterday afternoon and evening, making it feel like winter has finally arrived. With that light snow already exiting the region this morning across some areas in northwestern New Jersey, a little bit of black ice can be expected for your morning travel commute, so do be advised about that. And we basically have gale warnings on all the coastal fronts here, and these will extend issued probably into the evening tomorrow, late tomorrow afternoon, late tomorrow evening, across all of the forecast waters here. On the aviational weather deck this morning, we have a little bit of interior MVFR conditions at Morristown and also at Newark International this morning, where some light snow flurries are coming through. Also, Kennedy International Airport has a little bit of IFR conditions this morning with some snow. And then, of course, we have basically the MVFR or limited IFR conditions on the south shore of Long Island, interior portions of MVFR conditions here in Connecticut, too, as that snow flurries moves through the area along and ahead of the Arctic cold front, which is now slicing right through the New Jersey, New York City metropolitan area. So for today, the rest of today, mainly VFR, and of course those isolated snow showers passing to the east this morning. Variable ceiling decks at 4,000 to 5,000 feet. Gusty northwest winds already taking place, and that will be a flying concern for today. Gust reaching up to about 28 to 32 knots expected. For tonight, mainly VFR. Chance for an isolated snow shower or flurry with MVFR conditions mainly north and west of Allentown as more shortwave energy moves through the flow. Not much of a drop-off is expected in the west and northwest winds tonight. Continued gusts between 25 and 30 knots possible. Tuesday, VFR conditions, gusty northwest winds possible again. Wednesday, things calm down, mostly VFR conditions. A few snow showers Wednesday night could lower conditions to MVFR with another shortwave trough passing through the northwest flow. And then on Thursday, mostly VFR conditions expected. Friday, things get interesting. Conditions are likely to lower to IFR with snow by late in the day. And of course, we'll be talking about that forecast in great detail during this broadcast this morning. Right now, outside of Newark, it's cold. It's 21, dew point 14, humidity 73%. The wind is northwest 18, gust to 29. Makes the air temperature outside feel like 6. A little bit of light snow. And that is out of here today. The story is northwesterly winds and basically improving conditions to VFR. Philadelphia is in VFR right now, 21. Dew point is 0. Relative humidity 39%. The wind is northwest 18, gust to 25, makes the air temperature at the tarmacs there feel like 6. Clear skies right now. And basically the story for today will be the winds and VFR conditions in place. A lot of things to talk about, and we're going to move through the forecast here. Here's the northwesterly flow by the afternoon. The Arctic front well out into the Atlantic. Snow showers continue downstream lakes here. Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, getting into parts of the Poconos, perhaps northwestern New Jersey. Another stream, another trough moving southeast across the Great Lakes by late tonight into tomorrow morning could introduce a few more widely scattered snow showers over interior sections. The story is the wind and the Arctic air in place. And of course, we have these disturbances moving into the west coast, and then eventually moving into the forecast region across the plains. And by Wednesday, we've got a storm that's forming here, and this will cut through the central plains, and the area of low pressure will develop. And well, the story is that it's going to get quite interesting around here. Now, this is the forefront runner. There's the next storm system here, which is the storm system that we will be concerned about for Friday night and Saturday across the New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia metro area. And by Thursday, we find high pressure ridging over the eastern United States, and basically at this time, that's the cold air retreating, but still cold. Less cold than it is over today and tomorrow, but still, here's our complex storm system developing across the central and southern plains. And by the time we get into Friday morning, already low pressure is closing off, and the trough is already starting to go neutral to negative. And we'll get into the schematics in a moment. Notice this banana high over the top of it. According to the surface charts for Friday morning, that is also a good indicator of something moving up to coastline here, and it's going to be probably a winter storm, and we can see it closing off and deepening. This is a model consensus. Now we'll get into the actual model guidance in just a moment. This would be bringing very strong winds to the coast, northeast flow, high pressure locked in over the top of it, and as a result, moderate burst of snow falling Friday night and Saturday morning. Could be a significant snowstorm, our first of the season here for the New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia metropolitan area. Then everything begins to rapidly move to the north and east, and a cold weekend is in store, and a cleanup too by the time we get to Saturday night and Sunday morning. Here's our GFS 500 millibar height and cyclonic vorticity. Here is our northern stream. Here's our ridge access across the west coast, building further to the north, allowing these to drop down further south. Here's our energy forming our storm system. Now, this is important because of the next couple of days, we need to see the model guidance continue to build the ridge out in this position around Montana, down through Idaho, Utah, Colorado, Nevada, and Mexico, well, Arizona actually, but the upper ridge here has to be in this kind of position to allow the backside of this upper level disturbance here in the northern stream to bend into and form the upper level low. And it needs to be in a neutral state, and eventually it needs to turn negative. And that's what the model guidance is suggesting that it does. We can see the backside of this deepening now. Our upper level low is forming at 500 millibars. It's negatively tilted, and this is a good position that you want to be in because it's not really going to slow up too much, because then the ridge flattens out, the flow becomes west to east, and this thing is on the move. But notice how by Saturday morning, or midnight Friday night, we've got our upper level low cut off here, slightly neutral to negative as it makes its way to the coastline, and then rapid bombogenesis occurs, and of course rapid deepening, and that means, well, there's some moderate to heavy bands of snow where they fall. Could be over interior northern New Jersey down to Trenton, Philadelphia, including New York City. Coast could see a little bit less. Again, we're not going to focus on the amounts right now, even though the output from the model guidance is showing a significant snowfall likely across our forecast region. The important thing to take away this morning is the location and orientation of what the upper level forecast is showing. Now, there's not going to be enough time in this broadcast to go over all the model guidance, but if we took the operational models of GFS, the European model guidance, the Canadian model guidance, and the ensemble model guidance, as I mentioned on Facebook yesterday and social media, all of the model guidance is pretty much coming in line. So we're pretty confident. The National Weather Service is also relatively confident at 60 to 70% chances for precipitation on a 5-day basis, 5 days out from the forecast right now, that there is going to be an impactful winter storm on our forecast back doorsteps here on Friday night and Saturday. GFS now, precipitation, here's our warm air advection, a short wave moving through the flow, and this would be for Wednesday night. And by the time we get to Thursday, we've already seen the storm developing in its stages here across the Arklatex area. And it's just going to start getting going here. Rain and thunder are going to be convection, a lot of convection going on with this storm. Thermal, tight pressure gradient and thermal gradient. We can see the surface low really beginning to deepen here across the southeastern United States. We've got cold air locked in place, a typical banana high kind of situation that we'd like to see, or calm head high, banana head high that we'd like to see to lock in the cold air in place, keep the northeasterly flow in place across the region. So we see that, and snow breaks out. And it breaks out through the Virginias and portions of, well, Maryland and southern New Jersey. By the time we get to Friday afternoon, the snow rapidly spreads to the north and east. A little bit of rain here on the coast, cutting down the amounts here, depending on the exact track of this. But this is deepening rapidly here as the surface and upper levels are also closing off. So there's a strong thermodynamic here across the ocean, and the inland temperatures aloft. And that's going to create the snow bands. Now, as the storm is rapidly deepening here across the coastal waters of Delaware and off the Jersey Shore, notice the tightly packed isobars here. So with strong winds and a moderate to heavy burst of snow could be falling north and west of this line, which is typical under developing cyclones of this nature and orientation. Now, it's been compared a little bit to the storm of 96 January, but there's a lot of differences, well, a few differences actually, but overall, the upper level pattern looks quite similar on both model schemes. But we're not talking about a long duration snow event here, but we could have about 12 hours or more of some moderate to heavy snow across the region, and that would be our first initial storm. Now, it will close off and slow down just a little bit by Saturday afternoon, so snow could be falling to beat the band across just all of our forecast region with variable intensities, and eventually the low is stacked and begins to pull off to the north and east as the upper level flow becomes more west to east and pushes the storm out to sea by the time we get into Sunday. So lots of interesting weather ahead. Now, of course, it's very early in the forecast to give expected amounts, but, even the model guidance is showing better than a foot is likely, maybe even a foot and a half or more, depending on the model guidance. And all of this will be subjectively changing over the next couple of model runs, probably till about Wednesday or Thursday, until we really have all of the RAOB data from the storm in question into the United States and well sampled. So look for a moderate to heavy snow. This could be a significant snowstorm for the New Jersey, New York City, Philadelphia I-95 corridor coming up on Friday night and Saturday. And of course, we'll be covering all of this stuff on Twitter, Facebook, and Google Plus throughout the day and throughout the week ahead. And of course, you can also see those feeds, those live feeds, if you don't have Facebook or one of the others. You can also always see those live feeds on the right-hand side of our web pages on both GardenStateWeather.com and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com. For both websites, I'm forecaster Robert Smith. You make it a very pleasant and warm. Stay warm out there and bundle up outside, and drive safely this morning as well on your morning commute. We'll be back in video form tomorrow morning or later tonight, depending. And of course, all of our feeds will continue to be live on Facebook, Google Plus, and Twitter. Have a good Monday.